finals.
Yeah, Dante's Peak was such a cool map. If you guys like are kind of liking the textures and the difference here for Starbow so far, wait till you see Dante's Peak. It is seriously my favorite map in Starbow.
Dante's Peak was made by Cantuva, and he got third and second place for the last Team Liquid map making contest. So he's pretty awesome.
Nice. Well, welcome back, guys. This is game number 2 here in the semifinals match. It is a best of 3, and the winner will go on, of course, to fight against Buckfast, a Zerg player. So we'll see how this goes. Spawning here in the bottom right corner of the map, he's Terran, he's pink, from the clan BFFFFFF. It is Schapism.
And in the top left corner, being very green today, and he's up 1-0. I had to think for a second there. It is Franscar. Franscar, who won the last entire Ladder Cup tournament. Just to clarify here, this today is not the entirety of the Ladder Cup. It's just a qualifier. We're gonna have 3 qualifiers like this, and then we're gonna have a grand final event that's gonna span over 2 days. The next qualifier will be sometime in July. I think the date we put out might not be set in stone, but we'll have to get back to you on that.
Oh yeah, there's some dates I gotta talk to you about the clash. Pretty hardcore with what you get scheduled.
Yeah.
So.
We'll have to figure that out. We might actually, and a couple of players requested this, and this is of course if you have time also, Rifkin, but we might actually do one of them during a weekday instead of Saturday.
No, that's fine. I was gonna say, like, the biggest problem with Starbow for season 1 was like, I don't give a fuck about consistency. You gotta not schedule it during big events, CPS.
Well,
like every Saturday is cool, but every Saturday if you're fighting against like ATC and like WCS and stuff, like no es bueno, no good for Starbow.
We were taking great measures to make sure that doesn't happen this time, and this Saturday was perfect. Sure, it was the GSL finals, but that was been done a couple hours ago, so
yeah,
we're not
I'm
colliding with anything right now.
Yeah, thumbs up for this one. It's just yeah, last season was a bit rough.
We're still learning here over at Starbow. We're used to making mods, not organizing tournaments.
Yeah, I know. It's just for me though. It's like, cool. We just did like an 8-hour cast and made $5. Sick.
Yay! You get so much Starbow credits though, so much swag there. Oh, by the way, do you have an account at Starbow Mod?
No, but what can I exchange Starbow credits for, man? Are there fabulous prizes? Will you like rub my feet? Is that what this is all about? Like, I mean,
there might be some Cepheus massages and hugs. Yes. So, yeah.
I don't want nothing but hugs, man. Don't get weird on me.
but yeah, because the reason I'm asking actually is that I put up this stream on because StarbowMod.com also have a streaming list now, like Team Liquid does. Cool. So I added your stream there, so people going there can see this happening right now.
Wow.
But
did you even ask my permission? Like, WTF, man, you're just throwing my stream all over the place like some commonplace horror?
Yeah, I'm just crazy, man. You're casting the Starbow Ladder Cup, and I dare to put it like on the Starbow community website without asking you. I'm so sorry, man.
I think we need to have some talks after the stream is over. This is...
But my point is that all the streams have
No, you're trying to force hugs on me like some sort of hug rapist. You're like putting my stream all over the place. This is not okay, alright? This is just not okay.
I understand you're sick and everything, but you have to take it all out on me. But anyway, so we have... yeah, so there we go. If only germs could go through Skype. Anyhow, so Schapism is going for a fairly fast expansion with a tech lab on the barracks here, and Franscar is not going to go for a quick third base, which is, I guess, okay versus Terran, because going for quick thirds versus Terran can be pretty hard to hold, even if they go for quick naturals.
Yeah, I like the macro hatchery here too. I mean, it connects the creep. It's a nice thing to have just in general for the larva production, but that's also a pretty quick layer coming out of Franscar.
It is. I'm pretty sure we're going to see Mutalisks. I know Franscar likes his Muta play versus Terran. It's been coming back into fashion, and it's really weird because for a while Mutalisks just didn't do anything versus Marines, and Marines have like 4 range, and Mutalisks had 3 range, and we changed the range of Mutalisks to 3.5. Actually, it's the only ranged unit that has like a decimal range, and it did wonders versus the Marine Mutalisk interaction. It was crazy how that mattered. But we're not going to see Mutalisks. We're going to see Lurkers.
Yeah, so I was a little bit curious about that with the Hydra getting slapped down. I mean, Lurkers are never too bad versus Bio. As you said, like, sometimes new players, they just kind of A-move in. It's hilarious to watch them all die. Some experienced players sometimes don't split till it's too late. Lurkers, in general, are just good to have as well in the defense. You know, you don't exactly have siege tanks as a Zerg player, but you put down 2 spine crawlers and like 3 Lurkers, and nothing's really pushing into that before the 15-minute mark.
And he's nurturing swarm that out. That means that the unit is, the building is going out faster. And that's another interesting thing about lurker tech is that since lurker is not an upgrade, it's a building morph. You can force out the technology faster by using the nurturing swarm.
That's cool.
Same with Greater Spire and Lair and Hive, of course. But it wasn't like that in Bird War when it comes to lurkers. I think that was just an upgrade on the Hydra Den. You know,
out of all the Starbow stuff we've seen, though, I've not really seen anyone other than Red Bandit utilize Greater Spire ever. I mean, he's actually the only person out of all the Starbow casts we've done and all the games I've seen on like Husky's YouTube and stuff. Like nobody else uses Greater Spire.
Actually, Byleth is really good at using it, and Byleth is currently #1 ranked on the ladder now. Is he still in this tournament? He's playing in it. I want to see if he's still like in it. Oh, he didn't play in this? Oh, there we go. No, Byleth got knocked out of Schapism, and then he got knocked out by Nap. It's too bad.
Dies, goes to the sneaky base, denied.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't been first blooding. Fuck me. I'm sorry, guys. Here.
First blood.
It has no
First blood.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just had to. I probably missed that because I can't hear a stream, but I just had to say it.
No, it's fine. You actually timed that out perfectly because I just.
Oh, awesome.
But I've been totally forgetting about it for these last 3 games. I'll try and fix that going forward here.
How dare you?
Right? I know. I also said I'd do bets and I forgot to do that. I'm sorry, guys. I can't solo function while sick. It just doesn't happen. Brain no work good.
It sucks being sick, man. It's so weird with
well, I had like freaking like mono last month. I figured like I was good. Like, you know, you get sick like once every couple months, but like I don't know. I think it was like the airplane trip back or something. I must have breathed in some.
Schapism's just gonna kill a lurker. That's very unfortunate at this point in the game because Franscar doesn't have a lot of lurkers and he doesn't have a lot of defense too.
What was it even doing there? I mean, it's just like so far out of where it should have been.
It's just a disobedient lurker.
Franscar, I don't like that these are at the bottom of the ramp. I kind of feel like the lurker should be at the top.
Yeah, especially since it's expanding there, not at the natural. But yeah, Schapism should really know about this, but he's not going to do anything about it. He did a really good job cleaning up the creep though, and we got a queen out there to re-creep, but that's gonna be denied.
Yeah, this marine push isn't gonna get a lot accomplished. There's too many lurkers with the spine crawlers. I mean, spine crawlers are the perfect HP buffer. It's kind of like watching roaches and hydras in regular StarCraft, but instead it's spine crawlers and lurkers. And there might be a hell of a lot of marines out, guys, but there's no real capability to push in here.
No, if you have like enough lurkers, you can hold off an infinite amount of marines as long as you force them through a choke. And it's not like they're trading their lives for theirs like banelings would. You can just keep holding them. So you have to think a little bit differently, and you're pretty much forced to go for different tech choices or do something to get him around. I've seen Dirtybag actually, who's also unfortunately now knocked out of the tournament. He likes to go for really quick double dropships versus Zerg and just avoid play like this where they just go for quick lurkers and turtle like crazy and just drop into his main instead right away. It's pretty effective.
Well, I like that the lighted transmitter is finally getting researched. That's going to be really important moving forward with how many lurkers there are. There's going to be constant scans necessary to deal with this. And of course, you want to be overcharging like crazy since you guys removed the reactor, so all that energy matters just a little bit more.
We did compensate overcharge with 5 seconds because we removed the reactor though. Just throwing that out there. It's still a nerf, but it wasn't that big of a nerf as it could have been. Yeah. Main reason reactor is gone, by the way, is just vultures. Vultures are so strong and so cost effective, and you just saw tons and tons of vultures, and it was just not fun anymore for any Protoss player.
Mech was pretty abusive, I will agree with that. But alright, Hydra's gonna go on top of the Marines. Medics doing what they can here, but the lurkers are really nicely positioned. There's no fallback for this. And of course, scans are now available, so you never really want to push into lurkers unless you know precisely how many are there.
Yeah, and it's really weird too. Franscar goes for such a weird style with the Hydras, but here we go. He's going to try and move in again and kill these Marines. And very good spreads for Schapism, but he's kind of splitting like he would get versus Banelings. And these aren't Banelings, they're just standing still, so it doesn't really help pulling back that much.
Well, one of the things, so just to talk about a bit of the dead time, because we keep having people funnel into the stream and ask if you're just joining us, guys. This is Starbow. It's an arcade game for StarCraft 2. It's really competitive. It's very similar to that of Brood War. It's very similar to that of StarCraft 2. Oh, nice little cache in the middle of the map. We'll pick up a couple lurkers for free. The fire bats, however, get taken out pretty quickly. And most of the buffer's gone, so with only 4 or 5 Marines left, these Marines are doing what they can, but it's just not enough. He's driven back by the Hydras.
It's just so weird too though. Franscar goes for this weird style, and this is only Franscar who does it, but he actually sticks with Hydralisk versus Bio, and that's like Hydras trade really horribly versus Bio in general, but when they're coupled with Lurkers, and he likes to add Vipers too for that Ensnare spell, then it's really good actually, but it's only Franscar who does this that I've seen so far. And if you look at the units moving out on the map, you see they kind of form like this line instead of moving like a blob, and that's our pathing engine that kicks in that are kind of pushing the units at each other, so they start to form a line after a while, so they can't blob up and be a death ball the same way they can in StarCraft 2.
Right, and this is, even if they are in a line versus blobbing up, I mean, their Radiate's going to be so much more effective versus units like Hydras that do tend to, even while moving in a line, clump up more than most units. But, and the Rage goes down, there's a couple Lurkers here to defend, he should be able to hold this drop.
Ah, my prediction is fulfilled, there's 3 Vipers incoming, and oh yeah, that drop is gonna do a lot of damage. I missed that completely.
Okay, so Vipers, guys, wicked different than Vipers you're used to seeing. They got a lot of different abilities. Of course, they got Consume, which is the same, and that's cool, whatever. But one of them, of course, is kind of this AoE carpet bomb move, the Ensnare. It's got no damage attached to it, but it's like a time warp that gets thrown down and sticks to the units. The other ability is a Parasitic Domination, but that's a whole other can of worms. We'll talk about it if it even gets researched. But giving up his position here on the other side of the map, Franscar has to fall back. But one thing that's fantastic is if you do get that Ensnare off on a clump of Marines, on a clump of Medics, that's when the Lurkers really shine. Yeah, that makes them move 50% slower, so that means they can't really escape Lurker spines that easily, and Lurkers just slaughter them. It's a really interesting combination, but the Ensnare itself is like a projectile, kind of like Fungalist, but it's even slower, so it's kind of hard to hit unless the unit stands completely still. So it looks really cool, though. IMO, like the graphic for it's pretty nice.
It
just like this slow, like
big old green splash, and here we go. He's gonna try and go for it. Oh, and he misses.
Him so hardcore. Gets stopped the tanks though. These won't get too heavily involved in the fight. There's no scans going down, no detection. Yeah, he might have missed. Well, he missed most of the bio, but he takes out all the tanks. Oh, why is he leaving the one tank alive? Go for the medics. Priorities, man. There's like 2 Marines in this army. What the fuck?
Franscar's definitely going to clean this up eventually, though. But that wasn't very cost effective from me. But it was pretty good. And Schapism finally, though, is getting a 3rd base in this game. That's something that never happened last game, but Franscar is securing his top right, which is super important because he can start to expand towards back towards his main base again, and there's so many good bases in between there.
Well, he's finally on Hive Tech as well, it's worth noting, so Defilers will probably come out at some point. They're such an important part of the matchup. You almost just, you can't play without them. Dark Swarm, a big deal. Plague, less of a big deal, but still a really cool ability to have. If you guys can Ensnare and Dark Swarm combo together, those Hydras, those Lurkers, they'll take down any amount of bio like nobody's business.
Oh, so I'm just gonna have to, I'll be right back.
Nope, go for it. Loses the Vipers though, that's gonna be quite costly. Runs into that Terran army, and a small mistake out of Franscar costs him quite a few units. That really sucks because, of course, those Vipers are really high-tech units that cost quite a bit, and they're not exactly easy to replace. Plus, they gotta generate that energy. Granted, you can consume, but you never really want to over-consume. I like that he's left a couple units sprinkled around the map, though, to anticipate for drops. Still, though, this army is so scary to look at. Irradiates are starting to go down. Irradiates are pretty much guaranteed to kill any unit, except for, I think, an Ultralisk is one of the few units in the game. You can transfuse some as well. Or not transfuse, sorry, Nurturing Swarm to heal some units up. But for the most part, Irradiate's going to pretty much guarantee you a kill on any Lurker, any Hydralisk, maybe some nearby it. I mean, it's such a powerful move, and you have to be careful. Hydras are going to pick off the medevac, or sorry, not the medevac, but the dropship. Old habits die hard, but these Marines really shouldn't get a lot done, sadly. Bottom center part of the map soon to be under attack. There's a planetary fortress morphing, transforming in, however you want to call it, but even if it does finish, let's remind you all that the ICB cannon needs to be activated. So cancels it, retreats, should be able to hold this, and the reinforcements are coming in. Some irradiates, maybe. No, he's
gonna be so careful with the science vessels. Oh, sorry, I'm back, by the way.
He was careless with the science vessels, man. Losing 2 of them, no irradiates. And those are pretty much full energy science vessels, too.
That's an interesting part of going for the Hydra Lurker composition, is that you don't really need the Scourges anymore because you can use the Hydras to pick off the science vessels. And it feels a little bit more reliable way of doing it because the Scourges are like either you hit or either the Marines pick them off and you didn't get anything out of it. Which is okay because the unit is so cheap, but the Hydras, you know, at least you're going to get some shots off and do some damage, and you can keep doing that. Also, the Hydras are a lot better in combination with Plague. since they're down to 1 HP. Man, there's so many Hydras out, and he keeps upgrading them. He's getting Adrenal Glands. He's getting the Defilers.
Yeah, that's weird to see Adrenal Glands coming out. I mean, I guess Zerglings are always cheap and nice to make a max out on, but he doesn't really have any investment into them whatsoever.
Well, it's just one of those upgrades. Like, if he loses his all armor, I mean, he has to churn out Zerglings. He wants them to be stronger than they, as strong as they can be.
Well, drops once again out of these Overlords. That's a hell of a lot of them, and there's nothing at home to defend.
So many lurkers too, and he's gonna do it at the perfect time. Oh, he's gonna slow down. That's a nice ensnare. But this is so good too, because he slows down Schapism at the middle of the map with his small units, force, and with those ensnares, and then he drops in the meantime, making sure that the only choice for Schapism is to go back and not base trade at this situation, because he's so far away from his opponent.
Well, coming in here to the front, there's some missile turrets fired at the Overlords, but they'll let the lurkers, no problem. And this SCV line is, well, got to run for its life. It gets out of there alive. Now, there is some range out at this point. There's some siege tanks up. This isn't a drop that's going to end the game, but it will distract, and this third base is going to go down. No activation of the XP cannon. There we go, a little bit late on that activation, but still, there's just too many damn Hydralisks here. This base is going to go down. He's repairing it like crazy, though.
Schapism's just going to be pulled in every which direction, and he chooses to split up, which is really nice. But I don't. Yeah, it's not going to be enough. He's going to lose his third base. He's going to save his natural low, but I think he really wanted the other way around, to be honest.
Hang on, I'm not sure if I just saw that correctly. If you put an irradiated lurker into an Overlord, does it damage the Overlord?
No, I don't think. I think you might even save it that way, but I'm not sure actually, because it doesn't happen too often.
We'll have to do science sometime.
Yes, we should do like Starbow 101 and check out all these weird instances. But what you actually can do, and this is kind of funny, is you can save an irradiated units by putting it in a Nidus Worm.
Okay, that's cool.
So I've seen some cute usage with that and Defilers, and I don't think that's intended, but we saw it and like, okay, that's actually kind of cool. So we'll just keep that.
Well, we got those Defilers coming out finally. Dark Swarm is going to be so key moving forward in the game.
Oh, so many dead SCVs! That lurker's gonna get so many kills. I mean, 1. Okay, 3, there we go.
Yeah, all 3 kills, so many. Oh my god,
oh,
unstoppable.
Wow.
Roaches coming out, what the fuck? Why do we have roaches coming out? This is cool to see. I love roaches,
yeah.
I love their attack animation. Their tunnel ability is kind of cool, I guess, but they're not the greatest units, and they're not cheap and cost effective like they are in regular StarCraft.
And they're not really good versus bio either, so I'm kind of curious about this. What we actually have going...
They do have more health than Hydras, so I mean, if this is just for the sake of having a buffer for the HP, maybe, but I mean, that's the point of Dark Swarm, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I'm a little scared about Franscar because he really has this game right now. I would say he's definitely in the lead here, and doing something like this might just lose him the game, but I really hope he doesn't. He needs to burrow these roaches, so... Oh, he doesn't have the burrow upgrade for them even.
No, he doesn't have tunnel, you gotta research that, so... I just moved forward here with Great Balls of Fire. They soak some hits for the Hydras, I guess?
Well, he sees there's so many siege tanks in his army, so I guess that's why he's trying to go ferocious to get some extra buffer versus those siege tanks, which I guess is okay. Siege tanks do hit through Darkswarm now a little bit. They do splash damage in Darkswarm, so Darkswarm isn't.
Half, though, or?
Yeah, I think it is. So it's not like, but the point is that siege tank actually does something versus Darkswarm. So just having Darkswarm isn't enough if your opponent has a lot of siege tanks.
Well, there are a hell of a lot of siege tanks, that's for sure. Lots of marines to buffer for it too.
Here comes the roaches.
Okay, so tunnel, to explain how this works, guys. Man, roaches look so cool in the deck. Tunneling is almost like tunneling claws, except it's got a small set duration with a cooldown. So like you tunnel and you move super fast for like 5 seconds, but then you're forced out of the ground. You can't just stay permanently burrowed.
We are experimenting a lot with a new type of roach right now, actually. Okay, never mind. We've got a big attack here from Franscar. He didn't get the Dark Swarm up, and this is actually a pretty bad attack from Franscar. And this might be what Schapism needs to come back into this game. If he can push into some of the expansions of Franscar and start picking off bases while defending at home, that would be huge for him at this point.
Ooh, consume some Hydras. That's going to be a costly consume, but absolutely necessary for those Dark Swarms. Moving on forward here, he's going to try and leapfrog forward, but there's just not a lot of units left for this. The siege tanks are set up really nicely, and the lurkers are out of range. Diving forward, though, through the Dark Swarm once again, he moves forward, but can he focus down the tanks in time? Unsieging to reposition, trying to get forward here. There's no more Dark Swarms, there's no more Defilers. He's backing up into other lurkers, but he scans ahead, and he takes them out. This is looking so good for Schapism. He might actually be able to clear out the top right corner of the map. More!
Oh, and he picks up Defilers as they come out. And, man, that was such a good position decision for Schapism, though, putting those Marines so far ahead of the siege tanks so that he had to get several layers of Darkstorm just to connect. That was really, really well played. And I need to turn on my
still in a
volume
fantastic spot. I mean, they're just shredding those Hydras as they try to come forward. Siege tanks, guys, once more, I'll stress this, they hit for so much more in Starbow, but they got a long cooldown. But they do just wreck those Hydras. Marines might not be able to finish off the base, but man, Schapism traded an army for an army. The problem is, he doesn't have the money to remax like Franscar does.
He does not, but that was a very cost-effective engagement for him, though, and he needed it, but it still might be bad for him just because the production capacity of Franscar is incredible. If you look at the income tab, it's like twice as much almost for Franscar as it is for Schapism.
Yeah, yeah. Ultras cavern on the way, so we're going to see those little tiny itty-bitty Ultras come out eventually.
Cute little Ultras.
I know, you pinch their cheeks like but the Phyllis in the map once again might be cut off. They will get irradiated, so sadly they can't get a lot more done.
Ooh, but he loses 2 Science Vessels, and that's actually a huge pickup for Franscar at this time. Science Vessels are really the unit that lets you stay alive.
That just seemed like so needless. Okay, so the irradiated Defiler is about to die, consumes 2 Hydras and puts a Dark Swarm down right here. Like, okay.
That's a great position. In case he wanted to attack the Meteor Crater.
No, he just let the Science Vessel kill 2 Hydras.
Oh, but he loses another Science Vessel. Oh, this is actually like, Franscar can just sacrifice endless numbers of Hydras at this point. As long as he can kill Science Vessels, it's fine. More.
Oh, that ensnare out of nowhere.
That even rhymes, man.
I like that we finally have Plague Mate research as well. That's going to be a lot of damage for these very clumped up bio army that's constantly just in this cluster in the middle of the map. With the Anabolic Synthesis, okay, you can have Ultras come in, but they don't have the splash that they once did. I'm loving the Roaches though. I've been a huge fan of Starbow Roaches just simply because of the way they look. You use the Primal Roach skin combined with like a fireball instead of acid. Starbow Roaches are cool, even though they're pretty crap.
Yeah, like I said, we are experimenting with changing them up quite a bit to make them a little bit more useful.
Oh, Plague's not quite done yet. Diving in a little too soon with the Defilers. He's gonna wait a few seconds. It's so close to finishing.
Oh, but he's actually gonna try and pick off this expansion. There's one Ultralist there, cute and cuddly though it may be. It might just kill all these Marines. The Marines are not being microbursted, but I think the Marines are gonna take it down. But there's only 2 left. And there's no way they can kill that base.
Big Doom drop though. If he gets on the production. It's not much different from Starbow and the StarCraft, guys. You want to really shut a Terran player down, you get on top of their production.
Yeah, this is gonna be it, I think, because he's losing most of his main army out in the bed, and then he's losing his production at the same time. And yeah.
What? Why is he losing? Okay, so the dropship's full, and he's just like sitting on top of Hydralisks, but perhaps doesn't really matter. At this point, Schapism's in a lot of trouble. There's no way for him to even get up his own ramp to defend. The defender's advantage actually favoring that of Franscar. A bit of irony turned around here with a high ground advantage, but with Lings with Adrenal Glands, they've got 2-2 in the second's time. There's Defilers out with Plague. This 3rd base is being absolutely wrecked. The 4th base is going down too. This is looking bad for Schapism.
Very well orchestrated attacks from Franscar and GG. Franscar taking the series 2-0.